What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel this morning. This is the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is episode 195, part number 1 of Off the Script for your Friday, November 10th. 2017. We got a lot to go over today, man. We got a big story that is continuing to break as the hours go by. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been sent home from the WWE European Tour, apparently citing frustrations on the WWE talent bus, unhappy with WWE and their creative direction. We're going to go over all the news that has been revealed so far, according to PW Insider, Wrestling Suit Podcast, and Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet. We're going to go over that today as the top story for Off the Script. Also, major title change expected to happen on Smackdown Live. Which titles are going to be? We're going to talk about it right here on Off the Script. More major title changes coming before the Survivor Series. Who is slated to win the Raw versus SmackDown 5-on-5 Survivor Series match? I got news on that as well. Plus, seen Cara possibly injured at a WWE live event. And the Shield versus the New Day all but confirmed for the Survivor Series right here on Off the Script. Also, your social media segment Q&A will be happening today. I got a ton of questions, ton of feedback from you guys, so thank you very much for your inclusion for the social media Q&A segment of the podcast today. I might actually do it all weekend. There's so many goddamn questions. So thank you guys so much for reaching out to me and taking part in the Off the Script Q&A segment that will be happening today. I want to go over something first, man. I don't want to start the podcast off on a somber note, but, you know, I am not as big of a baseball guy as I was growing up. You know, I don't really watch, I don't really watch the Braves as often as I do. I'm a big Atlanta Braves guy. You know, you hardly ever see me without my Braves cap or some type of Braves cap. I got a ton of different Braves caps just hanging in my room here. My brother was a big Toronto Blue Jays fan, man. We grew up, you know, it's an oddity, you know. We grew up in the Bronx, and we are baseball fans, and of not the Yankees and the Mets. I fucking hate the Yankees. I can't stand the Yankees. I fucking hate the Mets, too. My dad was a Yankees fan, and a lot of people always ask me, you know, the one question that I always get asked, and then there's always a follow-up question. Why are you a Braves fan? I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I'm a Braves fan because my dad was a huge baseball card collector. And if you guys don't like my personal stories, tough shit. This is my show. I could talk about whatever I want. Because I know a lot of you guys, you know, oh, just get to the news already. We come for the news. We don't come to hear you talk about this and that. You know, it's my show, man. You're here for me. You know, the man behind the microphone is the most entertaining portion of the show. So if you're not here for me, then I don't know what the fuck you're here for, man. You can hear the news from anybody, but you're here because of me. Simple as that. My dad was a huge baseball card collector. And when I was growing up and when my brother Frank was growing up, we kind of, you know, took that on as a hobby. You know, I remember back in the day where, you know, me and my brother would sit in our bedrooms and we have shoe boxes full of baseball cards. And I tell you, man, it was a thing to behold. Like, we had everything just organized by collection, by series, by, you know, by player, by team. It was so organized, man. We had Topps cards mixed in with Topps cards. We had Leaf, which was big back in the day. Bowman, which was big back in the day. Ultra, I believe. Fleer Ultra was something big back in the day. You know? It was a really, really fun hobby for me and my brother. We had them all in the plastics and the sleeves, the binders, the more expensive cards that we had in those thick plastic, two-sided plate holders. It was unbelievable, man. We had a blast with it. And when we were bored on some days, we would sit in our bedroom and kind of trade with one another. I'll give you this guy, and you give me this guy. And a lot of people always ask me, JD, why are you a Braves fan? It was because of my baseball card collection, and my collection first starting up with my dad. He took us to the card store, and he got us our first set and our first couple of cards, and he sat down with us and made sure that the cards were well protected, put them in the sleeves. We opened up our first packs together, and in my first pack, I got a David Justice rookie card, and this was back, I think, in 1990, 1991, and he was still with the Atlanta Braves. And my dad was like, oh, that's going to be a good card. That's going to be a good card. He's going to be a good player. So, obviously, at a young age, my dad's showing me something that I'm, highly interested in, and something that he loves to do, and he's sharing his time with me and telling me the ways, teaching me the ways, and he told me that stuck with me. That stuck with me for several years, man. So I cherish that David Justice card that I got. I protected it with my fucking life. And being that it was David Justice and it was my favorite card, it was my first real, glimpse at something being valuable. I took to being a fan of not only David Justice, but I followed the team. And that was right before they turned things around in 1991. I didn't know any better, I was never called a front-runner fan, which I'm very grateful for, because obviously I'm not. I mean, you take a look at the Atlanta Braves now, and there's no way you can call me a front-runner fan if I have to deal with all the fucking bullshit that they got going on now, man. My God. If I'm anything, it's anything but a front-runner fan. And you can tell I'm a big Braves fan, man. When I stream, I got a huge poster hanging in my living room of Eric O'Flaherty, Johnny Venters, and Craig Kimbrell, man. The three-headed fucking beast that was the Atlanta Braves bullpen a couple of years ago, man. Nobody. And I'm surprised they didn't go as far as I expected them to with that fucking bullpen, man. You get to Flaherty in the seventh inning, then you go to Venters in the eighth, and then Kimbrell in the ninth. You're done. You were done. No way anybody was going to get through those guys. And then soon after they broke up, and soon after that, Kimbrell was traded to the Red Sox. And I was heartbroken because Kimbrell was my favorite closer for the Braves since the Smoltz days. But I was never a front-runner fan, man. It was before they turned everything around in 1991 and the infamous Kirby Puckett bullshit with the Minnesota Twins in the 1991 World Series. That whole Carlos Cabrera thing, it was unbelievable, man. Sid Bream rounding third base against the Pirates. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. It was that's when baseball was fucking exciting. That's when baseball was on NBC, Channel 4 here in New York City, and I don't know who was doing the announcing. It might have been Bob Costas. I don't know who it was. A young Bob Costas, I believe it was. Everything was just so exciting, man. And from there, I just, I became a big advocate for the Atlanta Braves. The Glavins, the Averys, the Smoltz. Obviously, when Greg Maddux signed with the Atlanta Braves, coming over from the Cubs, I didn't know what to expect. Maddux, to me, easily one of the greatest professional baseball pitchers ever. When you watch Greg Maddux pitch, man, it's like you're watching a fucking scientist conduct an experiment. I always modeled Greg Maddux after, because, we talk wrestling. I always modeled Greg Maddux after, fucking John Smoltz. No, not John Smoltz. Greg Maddux after Bret Hart. He was the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, man. Back in the mid-'90s, nobody. Maybe besides a Randy Johnson. But Greg Maddux was unbelievable, man. He was like a fucking technical masterpiece. Guy didn't throw harder than 90 miles an hour. His fastball had more movement than anything I ever seen. His changeup was fucking absolutely devastating. And there's a reason why he won 4 Cy Youngs in a row. Because he's fucking one of the greatest of all time. Smoltz was another one, man. Watching Smoltz pitch, Jesus Christ, man. Smoltz in 1996, one of the most dominating years I've ever seen as far as a pitcher goes, man. He was 24-6. And I still to this day don't understand how the Braves lost that World Series in 1996. Man, they had, and I know we're here to talk about wrestling, but I'm getting on my baseball kick now. You know, in 1996, man, the Braves had 4 20-game winners in their fucking rotation. I don't know when that was. When was the last time that was done? When was that done recently? I haven't watched enough baseball to even know if that was done recently, but Glavine had 20 wins. Smoltz had 20 wins. Maddox had 20 wins. Denny Nagel, who the Braves got from the Pirates, I think the year before, won 20 games. Denny fucking Nagel was a 4th starter with 20 wins. Have you ever seen a more devastating fucking rotation than that? And they lost that World Series. Gotta be fixed, bro. Gotta be fixed. That's the reason why I hate the Yankees. The 1996 World Series, man. You know, you had all the fucking bullshit in that World Series with the Wohlers and the Leyritzes and the fucking, just the whole bullshit surrounding the Yankees. Who was their manager at the time? I can't think of his fucking name. I can't think of his name, man. I'm drawing a blank right now. But, I mean, the Yankees, you know, they were built up as this Cinderella, come from behind, you know, never say never, not till the fat lady sings. It was ridiculous, man. The Yankees were never done until the fucking last pitch was thrown in that game. You would be sweating your balls off. The Yankees could be down 4-1 in the 9th inning, right? Normally you got fucking, you know, your closer with 50 saves in there. It's going to be done, right? You could go into the bottom of the 9th inning with the Yankees down 4-1, and you got the top closer in baseball on your team, and you would be literally dripping sweat just watching the fucking 9th inning before a pitch is even thrown, because you know what the Yankees are going to fucking do. They're going to load the bases with 1 out, and they're going to fucking threaten, and then it's going to be 4-2 and 4-3, and then you're going to be fucking biting every fucking fingernail off. That's exactly what I did, man. Some nights I sat watching these games, man, with fucking rosary beads and holy water fucking rocking back and forth like fucking Mankind, you know, as he's holding Paul Bearer's urn. It was fucking ridiculous. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. That's just a little glimpse into my childhood watching baseball, man. But not to get off topic, because I do love baseball. I just wish, you know, I was a little bit more interested in it like I was. Now that I'm home, the reason why I didn't watch enough baseball in previous years is because I always worked retail. You know, working late into the night, 9, 10 o'clock, getting home at 11 o'clock. You can't watch a fucking baseball game. And who the fuck wants to watch a baseball game on replay? You want to watch a baseball game when it's actually happening live. So maybe this year, now that I'm going to be home, maybe next year come April, I'll watch the Braves and get the MLB package. And try and watch as many games as I can, being that it's going to be the first full year I'm home. But speaking of baseball, man, my brother, on top of that, me being a Braves fan, you know, in New York, my brother was a Toronto Blue Jays fan. My brother was big on Kelly Gruber. I don't know if you guys remember him, and John Olerud. So we had those guys, man. It was a weird childhood for me and my brother, man. Watching and becoming fans of two teams who are just completely everything that is not New York baseball. But this past week, the Toronto Blue Jays, one of the greatest Toronto Blue Jays aces of all time, Roy Halladay, passed away. And it was an unfortunate accident, and he was 40 years old. He was a registered pilot. He was flying a private jet over the Gulf of Mexico, and it crashed. One thing led to another, and he was fatally killed in the car crash. If you guys don't know who Roy Halladay is, here, let me pull up a picture, because I got a picture of him here. You see him there in the Toronto Blue Jays uniform, number 32, Roy Halladay. He was a two-time Cy Young Award winner. He retired from baseball nearly 4 years ago. During his time, easily one of the greatest pitchers of his era, man. He was flying an Icon A5, excuse me, Icon A5, a small single-engine aircraft that went down around noon on Tuesday off the coast of Florida, heading towards the Gulf of Mexico. The Sheriff's Office Marine Unit responded and found Halladay's body in shallow water near some mangroves. No survivors were found. Police said that they couldn't confirm if there were additional passengers on the plane or where they were headed. All of us at baseball are shocked and deeply saddened by the tragic passing of former Toronto Blue Jays and Philadelphia Phillies pitcher Roy Halladay, said MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred. A well-respected figure throughout the game, Roy was a fierce competitor with his 16-year career, which included 8 All-Star selections, 2 Cy Young Award winners, a perfect game, and a postseason no-hitter. Halladay received his pilot's license several years ago and tweeted photos last month of himself standing next to a new Icon A5 as part of the plane's marketing campaign. Halladay said that he had been dreaming about flying since he was a boy, but was only able to become a pilot once he retired from baseball. So this was a very tragic story this week, man. Roy Halladay, too young, man, 40 years old. 8-time All-Star who went 203 wins with 105 losses, a career ERA of 3.38. He was pretty much every year he was dominant. He had over 200 strikeouts per year. He was just a dominating pitcher, man. He was one of them guys where you went up against him and you just had a sneaking suspicion that he was just going to be on his game every single night. You know, Halladay won the 2003 American League Cy Young Award. He went 148 wins and 76 losses with a 3.43 ERA in 12 seasons with the Blue Jays. He was then traded to the Phillies in 2009 and won the Cy Young Award in 2010. So they got what they were expecting right away from Roy Halladay. He was eligible, or he is eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2019. Halladay had become a mental coach for the Phillies minor leaguer team. Rather than work on pitching mechanics, he worked on them approaching mental health to pitching, tutelage that some called invaluable. Several Halladay's former teammates and opponents offered their condolences on social media after learning about his death, including Ryan Howard, who used to play for the Phillies. It's just a sad day, man. You know, too young, 40 years old. So I just wanted to briefly talk about that, because the loss of someone so young like that, and the loss of someone so talented, you know, at such a young age, it's just a shitty thing to see, man. So, you know, my condolences to Roy Halladay's family, and, you know, man, as you grow older, the things that are in your childhood just seemingly disappear. You know, one day they're there, and one day they're not there, you know. Roy Halladay was a big part of me and my brother's childhood. We used to idolize guys like that, and it's just sad to see. You know, shocking to hear that Roy Halladay passed away at 40 years old. So I just wanted to send my condolences out and just share some personal stories with you guys right here on Off the Script. I know it's not wrestling related, but, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed some of my throwback stories to when I was a young child. And, you know, me and my baseball card collection and my love for baseball at a young age. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now we can get on with the rest of the regularly scheduled programming, which is WWE News and Rumors, man. Thank you guys so much. This is episode 195. 5 episodes away from episode 200. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I want to go live on YouTube, but then again, I don't, because I know it's going to be a bunch of bullshit, but we'll see what happens, man. This is episode 195, part number 1 of Off the Script. It is Friday, November 10th, 2017. Thank you guys for all the support this week. Raw, Smackdown, and NXT reviews are live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out. NXT review, we talk about Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano being added to NXT TakeOver. But here's the kicker. It's not going to be shown live on the pay-per-view on the WWE Network. It will only be for people in attendance. Sucks to be us sitting at home watching TakeOver War Games, man. So that is coming, and that is on the channel right now. If you guys missed that, go and check that out. Raw and Smackdown reviews are live. New Raw Tag Team Champions in the bar. New WWE Champion in AJ Styles as he defeated the modern-day failure, Jinder Mahal. New WWE Champion. Finally, the WWE title is back in the hands of its rightful owner. I also did an off-the-script extra video where John Cena has been named the 5th man to Team Smackdown at Survivor Series. So if you guys want to go check those videos out, all of those videos will be linked within this video in the annotation in the top right corner of the screen. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. If you guys want to get in on the social media segment here on Off the Script, use the hashtag JDOTS. Talk about anything. We can X anything for the social media segment. I would prefer current day WWE product or current day wrestling, whichever you guys want to address. So make sure you guys tweet me using the hashtag JDOTS. The social media segment will be brought to you by WrestleRumble.com. They are not only having a Survivor Series pick'em, but they're having a War Games pick'em. Survivor Series weekend, man. These are the prizes for WrestleRumble.com. The War Games prize list is first place. You're going to receive 50 MVP points and a mystery crate from our friends over at WrestleCrate.com. Second prize is 49 MVP points and a free pick'em entry for 1 year. Damn, that's pretty damn good. Third place for the NXT War Games pick'em is 48 MVP points. Fourth is 47. Fifth is 46. And so on down through 20th place, receiving 31 MVP points. Now, the Survivor Series is the main event. To Wrestle Rumble, it's the main event. For me, War Games is the main event. But if you guys want to win the big money, Survivor Series pick'em is where it's at. First prize is $500 cash and a mystery crate from our friends over at WrestleCrate.com. Second place is $100. Third place is $100. Fourth place is $50. Fifth place is $50. One entry is $10 and 3 entries is $15. So make sure you guys go and do that. WrestleRumble.com. Now the MVP works. The MVP to be crowned the day after WrestleMania will win $1,500 cash and a custom-made championship belt from leatherbydan.com. That's leatherbydan.com. The MVP belt will be one of a kind and guaranteed to make the envy of all your friends, man. That's WrestleRumble.com. Make sure to check them out. Tell them that JD on Off the Script sent you over there for WrestleRumble.com Survivor Series weekend, the Survivor Series pick'em and the War Games pick'em coming to WrestleRumble.com. Thank you to those guys for always supporting the show. As always, let's get on with the news. I got news, man. I got news. I got plenty of it. We're going to be talking about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being sent home from the WWE European Tour. Apparently, they are unhappy in the WWE. Who the fuck is happy in the WWE? Now, let's backtrack here before we even talk about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We all know why Sami Zayn would be unhappy. Following his unbelievable match with Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver Dallas during WrestleMania 32 weekend. That was the end of Sami Zayn being in a prominent role. Now, following that match, he got moved up to the main roster, and he didn't really do much of anything on Monday Night Raw except being fed to Braun Strowman. WWE had an underdog in Sami Zayn that I had a lot of faith in, being somewhat reminiscent of a Daniel Bryan-esque character. Sami Zayn was treated unfairly on Monday Night Raw. He got pushed to the side. Nobody found anything important in Sami Zayn. They didn't put him in anything important. They didn't find anything special in Sami Zayn. He was just a vanilla midget with no personality, who really wasn't in all that great a shape and was boring in the ring. That's what I was told from several detractors about Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens, on the other hand, went to Monday Night Raw, and he was the Universal Champion. He was in a very entertaining angle with Chris Jericho for the majority of the year. He was the Universal Champion, while Chris Jericho was the United States Champion. The Festival of Friendship turned Kevin Owens back into the Kevin Owens that we know and love. The vile, vicious, I don't give a shit Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens' Universal Championship title reign was met with a lot of unhappiness because he was ultimately there to be a joke He was ultimately there to be a chicken shit coward champion, and then ultimately he was there to be fed to a returning part-timer in Bill Goldberg, simply to get the title off of him, put it on Goldberg, only for Goldberg to drop it to Brock Lesnar, where we sit today, where Brock Lesnar is keeping it warm for Roman Reigns, because WWE does it all for Roman. If you guys watch my Monday Night Raw review, you guys know where I got the "they do it all for Roman" catchline, or catchphrase. So Kevin Owens really didn't do much of anything on Monday Night Raw either. I wasn't a big fan of the Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens stuff. The list of Jericho is very entertaining. Jericho always reinvents himself when he comes back. I do not think that was Jericho's best run. I think Jericho's best run ever in his career was when he was working with Shawn Michaels and the program that he had with Shawn Michaels around 2008, 2009, I think it was, 2008. Unbelievable stuff, man. Jericho was the best heel in the business. And those matches that he had with Shawn Michaels and just the feud that he had with Shawn Michaels was a thing of absolute fucking brilliance. It was a masterpiece. And nobody's going to tell me otherwise, man. One of my favorite things in all of WWE ever was that feud. Kevin Owens was moved over to Smackdown Live. He really didn't do much of anything. They turned him into Mr. USA, the face of America. Not really what Kevin Owens is about, man. Kevin Owens is Canadian, okay? They had him doing what Jinder Mahal should have been doing with the United States Championship. I don't see Kevin Owens as the face of anything. See Kevin Owens as, you want to fuck with me, I'm going to fuck you up, Kevin Owens. That's what I want to see. I want to see people being powerbombed into ring aprons. That's the Kevin Owens I want to see. I want to see the Kevin Owens that's going to stab his best friend in the back. That's the Kevin Owens that I want to see. So we come to this fall, and Kevin Owens is being positioned what looks to be at the top of the card. I mean, they book him in a feud with Shane McMahon that has been brewing for months. You can even go back to when Owens was on Raw. He got into a verbal spat with Shane McMahon. That was, I guess, the seeds being planted for a possible feud in the future. So Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon finally got their feud started on SmackDown Live. It all made sense. They went into Hell in a Cell, and Kevin Owens won with the help of Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens was being positioned as a top heel, the top heel on SmackDown Live. I mean, if Vince McMahon is going to interject himself on television in an angle with you, then there's got to be some sort of belief in the company in you. That's why none of this really makes sense. Kevin Owens was given a rub by Vince himself. He headbutted Vince McMahon. He frog splashed Vince McMahon off the top rope. Kevin Owens was being positioned as a top guy on SmackDown Live. And if you got Vince McMahon in your storyline, in the ring, on television with you, and he's staring across the ring at you, something's got to be going right. Something's got to be going right. Amongst all the rumors of Kevin Owens being fat and Kevin Owens being, out of shape, and WWE management, including Vince McMahon, losing faith in Kevin Owens because of his look and his size and his appeal and his character, this and that, every fucking excuse under the sun. Kevin Owens was given the rub by the chairman himself. Sami Zayn, with Kevin Owens, was expected to receive a nice rub. Sami Zayn wasn't doing anything as a heel, as a babyface rather. They turned him heel, and now aligning him with Kevin Owens, who's so good at what he does, maybe some of that's going to rub off on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was going nowhere as a babyface. Sometimes to see the clearer picture with Sami Zayn, maybe a heel turn was necessary. Yes, we understand Sami is a great babyface. He's got that underdog Daniel Bryan-esque mentality, but sometimes to get where you need to be with a certain character, sometimes you got to go to the dark side a little bit. Sami Zayn is having his own play on being a heel. He's smiling. He's sarcastic. He's just being a dick. Sami Zayn is coming off as a dick, as a condescending, I should deserve everything, I should be owed everything, dick on SmackDown Live. And it's working. I've enjoyed his heel work so far. But Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens really haven't been positioned all too well since Hell in a Cell. They've lost matches. Sami Zayn lost his match to Randy Orton for inclusion on SmackDown Live's Survivor Series team. Kevin Owens lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. You know, they booked Sami Zayn to lose in a very anticlimactic way on SmackDown Live against Kofi Kingston with a crossbody of all moves. Really not what I expect from two guys who, you know, did such dastardly deeds, not only to Vince McMahon, but to Shane McMahon as well. Now that Shane McMahon is back, he's pushing his power around, and he's treating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn like a bunch of fucking jobbers, you know? So, that's just a little brief synopsis of what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have done in the last year and a half. Now, this probably stems from a mixture of all that. Kevin Owens probably going back even before all that. Guys are unhappy. You know, they're touring, they're tired, they're away from their families. Creative sucks right now. And we talk about creative not being where it should be, but creative sucks on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I'm sure most of the locker room know, creative sucks. So WWE has seemingly left Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn off of the Survivor Series card. I expect big things from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at Survivor Series, so I'm not going to judge this news right away. I want to see what comes out first. I want to see what WWE does with them come the Survivor Series. They are booked right now in a match with the New Day. They are being promoted on SmackDown Live in a tag team match against 2/3 of the New Day, which I'm assuming they're scheduled to lose because the New Day is going into Survivor Series against the Shield. So once again, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn next week will be fed to the New Day, who will ultimately end up losing to the Shield. So you're kind of having Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lose momentum here by putting them in situations where they're not really coming out on top and they're not looking good. I can see why they would be frustrated. Like, I would question creative there. Why are you putting us in a match with the New Day next week on SmackDown Live, ultimately to lose, when the New Day is ultimately just being positioned to lose to the Shield at the Survivor Series? What good is that going to do us? You're halting our momentum. It's wrestling 101. They're hot coming out of Hell in a Cell. They do this dastardly deed. Sami Zayn just turns heel. You're fresh off a heel turn, and you're treating them like jobbers. They're right back to where they were before Hell in a Cell. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. If that's the case, you should have just kept it at Zayn losing to Orton, Zayn losing to Orton, and then Owens losing to Nakamura. Just leave them off television. Not leave them off television completely, but leave them out of the ring where they don't have to lose. That's momentum that you're not going to get back right away. You've done such a good job at building these guys up, and then you want to just ruin it. I don't get it. Now, if WWE, I still find it very weird. I still find it very weird. And this goes back to me saying that the rosters right now are overpopulated. You got so many guys on that roster that not everybody is going to get an ample spot on a show like Survivor Series. So you're lucky if you got a spot at all. There's so many guys on that roster that don't have a role at Survivor Series. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I thought, were definites for Team SmackDown Live. Now, if WWE wanted to have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on Team SmackDown Live, they could have easily had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn play nice and then ultimately screw SmackDown Live out of their win against Team Raw. They could have did it by being members of Survivor Series, but, you know, WWE wants to get as much star power on Survivor Series as they possibly can, so they loaded up Team SmackDown with Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode. Now we got John Cena, and then Shane McMahon leading the charge on SmackDown Live. That doesn't mean Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn aren't going to have a role at Survivor Series. I fully expect Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be the ones to cost SmackDown Live their win over Monday Night Raw at Survivor Series. That in itself is a big role, because that sets up the next layer of storyline moving forward for both men. But right now, it ain't looking too promising. It ain't looking too promising. So I can understand why Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are frustrated. There are also other reasons why Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are frustrated. They were very close with Jimmy Jacobs, who was recently fired for taking a picture with the Bullet Club outside of Raw when they were in California just a month and a half ago. Jimmy Jacobs was fired by posting a picture on his Instagram with the Bullet Club. Done. They were friends with Jimmy Jacobs. They were very close with Jimmy Jacobs. They did not agree with that termination. Yes, it was a little harsh, but WWE tends to make an example out of a lot of people unless they don't follow the rules down to a T. Neville. They're both incredibly close with Neville. Nobody's heard from Neville since he walked out of WWE. They treated Neville unfairly. They were treating Neville and positioning Neville as just another cruiserweight, and that's all he will ever be. When all Neville wanted to do was break through that mold and be positioned on Monday Night Raw with the rest of the top-tier talent on Raw and in the company. So he walked out. So Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, have taken offense to their great friend in Neville, and they feel like he's being fucked over. So there's a lot of frustration right now from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for a multitude of reasons. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were sent home after Tuesday night's Smackdown show in Manchester. The news was first reported by Wrestling Soup. This was cited through a WWE source. The rumor going around is that they were sent home because of unprofessional behavior, but no one in WWE has confirmed that news to anybody. Clearly, something significant must have taken place for the WWE to make a decision to send them home. A WWE source confirmed the story, and it was because of unprofessional conduct. Pro Wrestling Sheet and Ryan Satin reported that Zayn and Owens went against creative direction that they were given by the writers, and that played a part in the decision to send them home. Apparently, they were supposed to feed the New Day after Zayn versus Kofi Kingston on SmackDown Live, but instead, they decided to leave the ring. Basically, after the match, they were supposed to attempt to run back in and then ultimately get fended off by the New Day. That never happened, and the New Day just stood in the ring while waiting for them. Pro Wrestling Sheet also reported that they've been slightly difficult to work with as of late, and they seem unhappy backstage. A lot of people do find it interesting that they are not yet booked for the Survivor Series, but that does not mean that they're not going to have a major role at the Survivor Series. It's unclear what's next for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but there are more details coming out following the news on them being sent home from a WWE European tour. Earlier, obviously, we just talked about management not being happy with them and them not being happy with what's going on right now on SmackDown Live. Management's not happy with them for not going along with the script that they were given on SmackDown Live after Zayn and Kingston on SmackDown Live. PW Insider is reporting that there are several things right now that are building up, including Owens complaining loudly on a WWE talent bus. One person said that it was the last straw after several days of touring. Another person felt that it wasn't a major issue and that Owens, who has been unhappy in recent weeks, was just venting. And that combined with the happenings at SmackDown forced management to take action. Owens and Zayn were not at the live event on Wednesday night, and they will not be on the rest of the European tour, which is scheduled to go through Sunday. They are not booked for Survivor Series. Don't know what's going on, man, but this has been a weird month and a half in WWE. A lot of people are unhappy. A lot of people are unhappy. I don't think anything serious is going to happen to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I don't. But WWE really, I don't even think they fucking care. It's probably a waste of my breath to even utter this. WWE's going to do what they want creatively. But they got to really be careful. They're treading a thin line. Not everybody is a fucking idiot. People see what happens on television. People see what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn losing repeatedly after such a hot ending to Hell in a Cell does not make any sense. And the fact that they've been frustrated with the loss of their friends, Jimmy Jacobs and Neville specifically, I mean, it's just one person felt that it was Kevin Owens just venting. I know you guys have been at work and just fucking vented. I know I used to work the fucking retail stores, and when the customers left the store, I'd go in the back and I'd vent to my manager just to let the anger out, and then 10 minutes later I feel okay because I let it out, you know? Maybe it was one of those situations. I don't know. Sami Zayn doesn't look like the type of person where he is difficult to work with. He seems like a fun-loving guy, you know? He doesn't seem like one of those guys that's going to go against much of what the corporate machine says. Kevin Owens, you know, up until this point has been a pleasure to work with from what I can tell. You know, really hasn't had much to say about anything, but obviously with things building up here and then the lack of creative attention and the lack of creativity for what they've been doing obviously has built up. So maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board with these guys. I don't know. There's not really much I can say right now because this is a fresh story. We really don't know what's going on. We don't know what they're feeling. We don't know why this happened. All we know is that Owens and Zayn are unhappy. They were sent home from the WWE European Tour that's ongoing right now, and that's all we know. People are citing that they're unhappy in WWE. I don't doubt that for a second. I don't doubt that the entire roster is unhappy. Everybody is unhappy. They're there because they're being paid well. They're there because it's the WWE. Right? They're paying you to do a job. Go and do your job. But for Owens and Sami Zayn to intentionally go off the script, no pun intended, you know, that's a ballsy move. That really is a ballsy move from both men. And behavior that I really would not expect from both guys. It's a ballsy move, but not something that I would necessarily have done, you know. They're in a position right now where it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game. They're not going to get what they want right away. So, I don't know why they did such an act that is going to catch a lot of attention when Survivor Series is only 2 weeks away, and we kind of know that they're going to have a role in that Survivor Series match because they're feuding with Shane. Shane said it himself on Smackdown Live. They don't have any brand loyalty. That leaves an opening for a lot of things. They don't have any brand loyalty. Which means that opens it up for them turning their backs against SmackDown Live. That opens it up for them being traded or moved to Raw, you know, for what they did. I don't know. But there's a lot of this storyline left to play out. So becoming overly frustrated and going against what the creative writers wanted you to do on SmackDown Live, something so small as to, you know, feed the New Day, advance the New Day, and then retreat. You know, it seems a little bit ridiculous that they would go against the creative writing for Tuesday's show. We really don't know. We're just basing this on speculation right now. But I would not doubt that the entire roster is unhappy. I mean, look at Rusev's tweets. Look at Rusev's tweet yesterday when John Cena was announced for SmackDown Live's team. You know, I'd like to congratulate John Cena for working so hard to be part of Team SmackDown Live. You know? Just comes out of nowhere. Takes the spot from a guy who we'd love to see positioned in a top role on SmackDown Live. The land of opportunity, my ass. It's not the land of opportunity. It's the land of what makes WWE money. It's never the land of opportunity. The land of opportunity doesn't exist. It's when WWE wants to give you the opportunity. That's the fucking catch. You know, look at what he tweeted out. Somebody was talking about Rusev. Let me pull it up. I know maybe he deleted it. I don't know. It was so savage. I think he might have deleted it because I don't see how you could get away with shit like that, man. He said something. I don't have the tweet pulled up on my stream deck here. Let me see. I can't find it here. Yeah, I think he deleted it. Something about, oh, yeah. Here we go. Someone tweeted him, will at WWE be releasing 2018 calendars that are corrected to show that every day is Rusev Day? And then he commented, He says there will be something released next year, that's for sure. So you know Rusev is unhappy. Just look at his tweets. And then he tweets out, sorry, my Twitter got hacked by Honest Rusev. Hashtag Rusev Day. You know? These guys are unhappy, man. Jim Ross always cites, it's one of the two C's. It's either cash or creative. At this point, it's creative. WWE not really doing any of their roster favor whatsoever. We'll see what happens, man. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I hope things work out right. I hope things aren't going to get worse. I don't want to see them being punished, because they are realistically in a position right now where they are the top thing on SmackDown Live. They are the top thing on SmackDown Live. There is nothing right now, storyline-wise, that is greater than what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is doing. They are the top story on SmackDown Live. There's no reason for them to throw that all away and be ballsy and go against creative. Not something that I really would have expected. Not really something that I would have done in that position. Seems like it's something that could easily be talked about behind the curtain. Things that could have easily been fixed. But to go out there and go against the script, you might be pushing some buttons you don't want to push, bro. You know, Vince McMahon, I'm sure, is dealing with a ton of stress already. People walking out, people being fired, this and that. Now you want to walk out. Now you want to walk out on WWE creative writing and do your own thing. Do your own thing on live television and go against the creative script. Not really something that I want to push, man. You know? You don't want to be demoted. You don't want to have your spot taken away from you. Hopefully this ends well, and hopefully there is no consequences to be paid by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That's all I'm worried about. So we'll see what happens there, man. If I hear anything else on this story, we'll obviously report it here on the podcast. But that's all we have right now. Until I hear anything else from a credible source, that is all we're going on. They got sent home. They're unhappy in WWE, and they went against the script on SmackDown Live. But they are in a match with the New Day on SmackDown Live this coming Tuesday, which ultimately I feel like they're going to lose. You know? They're going to lose either because WWE has got to build up the New Day to look strong for the Shield, ultimately to lose to the Shield, or they're going to lose, one or the other, they're going to lose, or they're going to be punished. They're going to be punished for what they did. So either way, you're looking at Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, if the match is still on. I mean, they announced it on Tuesday. If the match is still on, look for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to lose on SmackDown Live. That's what we got to look forward to on Tuesday. Charlotte. Will she be winning the SmackDown Live Women's Championship before the Survivor Series? It's being reported that Charlotte is indeed expected to capture the SmackDown Women's title from Natalya next week and will face Alexa Bliss at the Survivor Series. Looks like somebody in WWE kind of wisened up. The initial announcement for the Survivor Series card was met with such moans, groans, and disappointment that I can't even fucking begin to tell you, man. My God. We started out with Jinder versus Brock, Miz versus Corbin, Natalya versus Bliss, and the Usos versus The Shield. Now we got The Bar versus the Usos, which I'm not even sure that's still on because the Usos' injury, I believe it was Jay, took a nasty fucking fall on Tuesday night. He got a chop block from Chad Gable. So he looked like he was legitimately hurt. I haven't heard anything. So hopefully it's not. But we'll see what happens. But it's The Bar versus the Usos now scheduled. Right now we have the potential to be looking at Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss, which is the much more appealing match, if you ask me. Now we got AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. So before this week is up, before this next week is over with, Survivor Series is going to look drastically different than when we first got the announcement from Kurt Angle on Monday Night Raw 3 weeks ago. And I got to give WWE props. I'm glad that they rectified what was the problem here. Not only did the card look weak compared to NXT, not only did the card look weak, just comparing it as a Big Four pay-per-view, brand supremacy, but every champion in the company was a heel. Every match was heel versus heel outside of that Shield versus Usos match. Now we got Styles, babyface. Lesnar, heel. Now we're going to have Charlotte, babyface. Alexa Bliss, heel. The Bar is the only match. The Bar versus the Usos is a heel versus heel. That's the only match right there you're looking at. And then The Miz versus Baron Corbin is a heel versus heel. At least they cut down the heel versus heel mechanic there by half. So we'll see what happens, man. But Baron Corbin could ultimately lose the United States Championship on Tuesday night. He's scheduled in a U.S. title match against Sin Cara. We could be looking at The Miz versus Sin Cara at the Survivor Series. God only knows who wants to see that fucking match. Nobody wants to see that match. That's awful. That's what you consider a pay-per-view match? I hope that doesn't happen. I know that Miz and Baron Corbin aren't going to have any chemistry, but I'd much rather see Corbin versus The Miz than The Miz versus Sin Cara. But I got to commend WWE for ultimately rectifying some of the problems that were wrong with the Survivor Series card, man. Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss is a Raw versus SmackDown showdown that I'd like to see. Alexa Bliss has been positioned as the hottest thing in the women's division on both brands. Having her go up against Charlotte, something that I'd be interested in seeing, man. Meanwhile, Natalya will take Charlotte's spot during the Women's Traditional Survivor Series elimination match, though she would be on Team SmackDown, representing them going up against Raw. The WWE Universe will be surprised to see another big title change before the pay-per-view, but there are many logical reasons why Charlotte Flair is winning the title. Now, a lot of people were expecting that WWE officials were going to wait until the Starrcade event later this month to have the title change hands because Ric Flair was going to be in attendance. But WWE are now looking to capitalize on the recent media attention for the documentary that was aired on ESPN, the 30 for 30 special about Ric Flair. Also, the powers that be like Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte because Natalya versus Alexa Bliss, like I said, was heel versus heel, and there's really nothing there to interest the fans. At least people are behind Charlotte. People are behind Alexa. It's a heel versus babyface dynamic right now on WWE television that I'd much rather see instead of Natalya, who nobody really gives a shit about, against Alexa Bliss, the heel. Not really the most intriguing match that WWE could have presented. This one is much better. But I do feel bad for Natalya that they're taking the title off of her for this technicality because of a documentary that was filmed for ESPN that just aired this week. Natalya, I know, has busted her ass to get here. She's complained many years about not receiving an opportunity. They finally make her women's champion. She beats Naomi, and now they have to take it off of her because they want to ride the hot hand in Charlotte, who to me I think is a heel. Ultimately, she's a heel, but right now I would take Charlotte in the babyface role to go against Alexa Bliss because it's the much more intriguing match compared to Bliss versus Natalya. Another reason why WWE officials want to keep Charlotte away from Asuka until the two women can develop their own feud down the line. The Empress of Tomorrow is expected to dominate the Raw vs. SmackDown women's match, so WWE officials don't want them to share the ring or interact at all until the time is right. A lot of fans might not like Charlotte's Rush title win, but it seems like the best choice for everyone involved. That last reason is all the reason you need to give me, man. I like that reason. So WWE using their fucking brain. Looks like WWE is using their brain, man. I'd much rather Asuka dominate a Natalya, dominate a Carmella, dominate in that Survivor Series match like I booked to you guys already, which we're going to go over in a second. I do have, I don't know, I don't think it's on this show. I think I'll save it for Saturday. Yeah, it's on Saturday's show. It's in my Saturday notes. Plans for Asuka in that Survivor Series match. But I do like that, the way I booked it, Asuka does not receive the tag at all. He does not receive the she does not receive the tag at all in that match. She stays on the apron, and you have jealousy building with the Monday Night Raw women. They don't want Asuka stealing their spotlight, so they don't tag Asuka in. And Asuka is only going to be needed when it's really a necessity in that match. Just picture it like the 1993 Survivor Series where it was the Foreign Fanatics versus the All-Americans, where The Undertaker was the last guy to get tagged in. You know, it was, who was it? It was Scott Steiner, Lex Luger, it was The Undertaker, and who the fuck was the other member of that team? I don't remember who it was. Now I gotta look it up. Let me see. 1993 Survivor Series. Who the fuck was it? It was, it wasn't Tatanka. Was it? I think Tatanka was taken out. Who the fuck was it? It was Rick Steiner, Crush, All Americans, all Americans. I don't understand this. Who the fuck? It was Rick Steiner. It was Scott Steiner. Was it Rick? Oh, yeah, it was the Steiner brother. I thought one of them was hurt. The reason I got confused because Rick Steiner got hurt in the match. He hurt his ribs in the match. So it was the Steiner brothers, it was Lex Luger, and it was The Undertaker. Okay, there you go. Then it was Ludwig Borga, it was the Mountie, Crush, and Yokozuna. Just picture it like that. Just picture it like that. It was The Undertaker who did not get the tag until the last 5 minutes of the match, and then he dominated Yokozuna. They tagged The Undertaker when the time was right, and he gave you an exciting run with Yokozuna. He took a bonsai drop, he sat up, he took a leg drop, he sat up, and that's what ultimately set up their casket match at the 1994 Royal Rumble. But just picture it like that. Just think about it like that. You got Asuka not receiving the tag for Team Raw during that women's match. And, you know, you can have Becky, you can have Naomi, and then you can have Natalya on the other end looking at a 3-on-1 instance with Asuka. Asuka's going to be the last one. She's going to dominate Naomi. She's going to dominate Natalya, and then she's going to dominate Becky. And to build up Asuka, I don't think that's going to harm those women. But to build up Asuka, it's worth it. Carmella and Tamina would probably be eliminated before that. But Asuka needs to be the sole survivor and come from behind to win that match. The fact that they're not putting Charlotte in there makes a lot of sense. And just based on that fact alone, I could see Charlotte winning the Women's Championship on SmackDown Live. I like that reason out of all the other reasons. Even the Ric Flair reason. I know they want to ride the hot hand, but storyline-wise, just booking-wise, creative-wise, I think that Asuka Survivor Series and keeping away Charlotte and Asuka from the Survivor Series showdown right now is the best way to do it. I originally had booked Charlotte and Asuka to go head-to-head at Survivor Series, having it come down to both women. But if they want to keep it away, they want to keep those women away from one another, fine. I like it. I'm not going to have any problems with that whatsoever as long as Asuka looks dominant in that Survivor Series match. Speaking of a Survivor Series match, possible winner between Raw and SmackDown Live at the Survivor Series revealed. According to the official website of WWE, there will be 5 matches between Raw and SmackDown Live. 5. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar is set to take on AJ Styles. Women's Champion Alexa Bliss is set to battle Natalya right now. That could ultimately change, with Charlotte winning the title on Tuesday night. Intercontinental Champion The Miz has his hands full against Baron Corbin, who is the United States Champion. Now, the Shield brothers, Rollins and Ambrose, they are no longer champions. They will be going up now against the New Day, teaming with Reigns. Obviously, Reigns is coming back on Monday. They're going to go up against the New Day. Now, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro are Raw Tag Team Champions, and they will go up against the Usos. Finally, we got the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match for the men and the women. The women's team of Monday Night Raw has only 2 superstars. Actually, no, we have almost a whole team. We got Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, and Asuka. So there's only 1 left, which I'm assuming it will be Bayley. I don't know why they just didn't announce Bayley on Monday Night Raw because I can't see it being anybody else. SmackDown Live already has their roster lined up. Becky, it's going to be Natalya if the rumors are true. But right now it's Becky, Charlotte, Naomi, Carmella, and Tamina. On the other hand, the Raw women's team, the Raw men's team, rather, consists of Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and who's the last one? I'm drawing a fucking blank here. Jason Jordan. You can see how important Jason Jordan is. They will go up against Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena. With Survivor Series around the corner, WWE started planning the outcomes for the matches. The Dirty Sheets podcast reports that the rivalry between the brands is getting real behind the scenes, with creative teams clashing in recent meetings with Vince McMahon. Neither creative team for Raw or SmackDown Live are willing to make their brand look weak. Common logic. The report added that the WWE chairman wants Raw to prevail against SmackDown Live by a score of 3-2. The only penciled-in winner at the moment is Brock Lesnar going over in his match. In last year's Survivor Series, Monday Night Raw defeated SmackDown by a live score of 3-2. However, SmackDown winning the main event was the biggest victory of the night last year. Orton and Bray Wyatt were the survivors as they defeated Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns with ease. Last year's Survivor Series was one of the best WWE matches in recent memory. That match was fucking fantastic. I expect the same this year with even more star power involved. Should be noted that the potential result of Survivor Series is still speculation at this moment and nothing has been confirmed. The WWE tends to change their plans on a regular basis, with some changes happening hours before the event. I don't know, man. It's very difficult, especially if they're changing the matches now. It's very difficult to choose a winner. If it's going to be Charlotte and Alexa, who's going to walk out that match? You know, you're gonna ride the hot hand in Charlotte. That's one for SmackDown. You're going to do Miz versus Baron Corbin. Ultimately, I would go with Baron Corbin. I think Baron Corbin needs a big win. You know, I think Baron Corbin needs a big win, and I really don't care for the Miz at all anymore. I don't. I think he is devaluing the Intercontinental Championship, or the title is being devalued on the Miz, because WWE doesn't know what to do with it creatively. So there's two there for SmackDown Live. Monday Night Raw is going to win the men's match. Monday Night Raw is going to win the women's match. And then I would actually go with the Bar over the Usos. The Bar just won the tag team championships. You got to ride the hot hand there. There's your 3-2 right there. And then Brock Lesnar's going to beat AJ Styles. I don't see Brock Lesnar taking a pin. You know, Monday Night Raw is going to win at Survivor Series. It's just set up that way. Common logic would go that way. Lesnar's going to beat Styles. I would go with Corbin over the Miz. I would go with Charlotte over Alexa. I would go with the Bar over the Usos. I'd go with the Raw women's team, and then I would go with the Raw men's team. Simple as that. And it all plays into storyline. A lot of combustible elements in those two Survivor Series matches. You got the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn factor. You got the Jason Jordan factor. A lot of storylines could be coming out of those. You got Balor and Joe, who just had a war on Monday Night Raw. You got Braun Strowman, possible Kane involvement in there as well. You know? You got the Asuka situation in the women's match. How they're going to handle that. You got Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal is obviously going to have some type of role at Survivor Series. I see, or foresee, Jinder Mahal ruining AJ Styles' chances at beating Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Because I think that is what WWE is going to go with at Clash of the Champions in December. That's SmackDown's last pay-per-view of the year. I see Jinder versus AJ again for the WWE Championship. Because you know he's going to be scheduled to get a rematch. So that right there is my prediction for Survivor Series. Obviously, we'll talk about that next weekend when we talk about the preview and predictions for the Survivor Series 2017. Sin Cara injured at a WWE live event in Madrid. I don't know how serious this is, but apparently Sin Cara was injured at a WWE live event. We have some unfortunate news to report. According to fans coming out of Madrid, Spain, during WWE's European tour, Sin Cara was injured during his match with Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. As soon as the referee, Charles Robinson, realized that he was injured, the X sign went up. And you guys know when the X goes up, it's not good. He was legitimately hurt. Robinson apparently signaled for the match to end early, so Zayn took the fall just seconds later. On Instagram, Sin Cara thanked the fans in Madrid and talked about how wrestlers put their bodies on the line to entertain the fans every night. Nobody knows how serious the injury is, but hopefully it's not something that will keep him out of action for an extended period of time, because he was getting a push in recent weeks. And if WWE knew he was hurt, this was earlier in the week. This was the weekend before SmackDown on Tuesday. WWE taped SmackDown on Tuesday. They booked Sin Cara versus Baron Corbin on SmackDown Live next week for the United States Championship. So either Sin Cara is not really hurt at all, and they are going to go on with the match as scheduled, or WWE did not know the severity of the injury, and he really is out, and WWE has to change plans on Tuesday. So we don't know what's going to happen at Survivor Series. To be honest with you, you want to know my thoughts here? This is what I would do. If Sin Cara is hurt, which I don't hope he is, but I don't want to see Sin Cara in any title match. I don't want to see Sin Cara in any match, period. You want to know what I would do? You want to know how to make Survivor Series better, and this is what you do right now. You heard it here first. You do this match, scrapped. Get rid of it. You do Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger at SmackDown Live. You have Ty Dillinger win the United States Championship. Remember that Twitter war that Ty Dillinger and The Miz had at some point during the summer? I would have Ty Dillinger win the United States Championship, and then I would have The Miz versus Ty Dillinger at Survivor Series. Wouldn't you much rather see Ty Dillinger versus The Miz than Baron Corbin versus The Miz? Why is that not? Actually, pay me. Pay me. Why are we not getting Ty Dillinger as the United States Champion battling The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion, at Survivor Series? That would make That would make the undercard for Survivor Series. What? You know what? This is a damn good fucking show. Lesnar versus Styles, Dillinger versus The Miz, Alexa versus Charlotte, and The Bar versus the Usos. Ooh. Man, that would fix a lot. Sin Cara's injured. I'm sorry, bro. You ain't winning the United States Championship. If they got to rewrite plans, put Dillinger in there and have Dillinger go over Baron Corbin. Dillinger should be the United States champion, not Baron Corbin. Dillinger versus The Miz is what I want to see at Survivor Series. Let me know what you guys think about that. Killswitch Engage. If you guys are into your metal, you know who that is. Apparently, they're writing 2 new WWE themes. Killswitch Engage, obviously, you guys know that they wrote CM Punk's theme back in the day, This Fire Burns, before Cult of Personality was used. They were recently interviewed by CBS Locals 104.1 The Jack. The group stated that they are in the works for creating new entrance theme songs for a competitor in the WWE. Now, they went on to say, and I quote, "We're not actually even supposed to talk about it, but we have 2 wrestling theme songs in the works right now for WWE and another wrestling company. One song, I believe, is finished. The first one is done, and the second one we're going to start recording in like 2 weeks." The group also admitted that the song WWE sent them was really complicated, and it's not a good song, despite WWE wanting them to cover the song as closely as possible. No word yet on what WWE superstar song they will be writing for. If the band is saying that it was really complicated and it is not a good song, I don't have any excitement to hear what the fuck these guys are coming up with, man. If the musicians are saying it's not a good song, then I don't know what to tell you, man. That's all you need to know. But Killswitch Engage is writing 2 new themes, one for WWE and one for another wrestling company. So I don't know who that other wrestling company could be. I would, if I was under an assumption, I would guess Ring of Honor. But we'll see what happens, man. Killswitch Engage writing new WWE themes. If it's anything like This Fire Burns, I think we'll be good, man. This Fire Burns was a damn good song. Finally, guys, The Shield versus The New Day added to the Survivor Series card is all but confirmed. If you guys have not already known that by now, with what we've seen on Monday Night Raw. As many of you have probably figured out by now, Roman Reigns will have a role at the Survivor Series. The reason why the Bar won the Raw Tag Team Champions this week is because they did it for Roman. They wanted the belts off Seth and Ambrose to set up a match with a returning Roman and The Shield versus The New Day. The match will be announced within the next few days, probably on Monday Night Raw when Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns and Big E have been taking jabs at each other on Twitter. I don't have the tweets in front of me, but it was apparently about how Roman was bigger than Big E. More penis jokes coming from Roman Reigns. You know, the more you talk about it, the more you're trying to hype something up that probably isn't there, Mr. Roman Reigns. You know? It's like a midlife crisis for some fucking 60-year-old geezer who wants to go out and buy a fucking, I don't know, some type of fucking convertible, right? He wants to fucking fly down the highway and feel young and youthful, or a midlife crisis, one of these 60-year-old goons who want to go out and buy a Harley. Hey, look at me, I feel young again, you know? Roman Reigns is talking about the size of his dick to his colleagues on social media, you know? And he's talking about how big it really is. Meanwhile, there's probably nothing even there. Yet all the girls are going crazy over Roman Reigns, right? They did it for Roman. SmackDown roster will be on Raw in Atlanta, and there's a very good chance that some of the Raw roster will drive to Charlotte for SmackDown. There has also been many changes to the SmackDown card over the last week, so changes will continue to be made going into SmackDown Live. I do think that Raw will show up on SmackDown Live and put SmackDown under siege. So we got a lot going on this week as we head towards the home stretch for the Survivor Series. That is everything you guys need to know as far as the news goes. Now it's time for the social media segment. And like I said, the social media segment is brought to you guys by WrestleRumble.com. War Games and Survivor Series. Pick 'em. WrestleRumble.com is your place if you guys want to win cold, hard cash while watching War Games and Survivor Series in just a week away, man. So make sure you guys visit WrestleRumble.com. Follow them on Twitter as well. You can find all that stuff on their webpage. Follow them on social media. Tell them that JD sent you from Off the Script. So that is that, man. We're going to do the social media segment right now, man. We're going to start off here. We got a ton of fucking questions. I'm going to see if I can bang out some of these. Most of these. Let's see. We got 3 new results coming in already as I look up hashtag JDOTS. Carlos at Sports and Things 1 on Twitter. JD, do you think the Raw Women's Division would benefit from being on one show? Yes, I do. But then again, we wouldn't have Survivor Series the way it is if the division was on one show. So I don't think WWE is going to go back on what they have instituted so far. My original plan was, and you guys can go back and reference this, I said this right out of the draft. When the draft happened last year, man. I thought with the way the women's divisions looked and how bleak that they were, especially the Raw Women's Division, man. Realistically, you got to look at it. You got Sasha, you got Bayley, you got Nia, you got Asuka, and you got Alexa, right? That's 5 women. Alicia right now is being used simply out of pity. She wasn't used all year, so that's 6. You got Dana Brooke. Nobody cares about Dana Brooke. I'm surprised she even is still employed. So minus Dana Brooke, you got Mickie James. That's 7 women right there, right? Not everybody's being used every week. Mickie has been used here and there, just randomly out of the blue, again, out of pity. Paige is still returning. She's due to come back any week now. She's cleared to go. So that makes 8 women right there. That's enough for a solid division, you know? Dana Brooke should be honestly moved down to NXT. Dana Brooke should be moved down to NXT, have her get right, train, maybe pair her off with somebody else and get her character revamped to where she could actually be something usable on WWE television. On SmackDown Live, you got, realistically, I'm excluding the ones that I would not use. You got Natalya, you got Charlotte, you got Naomi, you got Becky, and Carmella. It's 5. Raw Women's Division actually looks better when I talk about it than the SmackDown Women's Division. You got Lana and Tamina, who to me mean nothing. They mean nothing to nobody. So, yes, I would put the women on one show. I would put the women on Raw. My original idea was put the women on Raw. That's a division right there. You can have a lot of competition in that division. Not everybody needs to be in the title hunt every fucking week. You can have matches, you can have contenders, you can have people fight for their spot. You can come up with storylines, you can come up with tag team matches that we're not going to get the same shit every single week, you know? And then I would move the women's division to Raw, and ultimately my original plan was move the tag teams to SmackDown. That's what I would have did. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But if I can revert back time, yeah, I would. If we could go back in time to the original draft, when everything was set up, I would do that. Yes, I do think the Raw Women's Division would benefit from being on one show. That's my answer to that question. Randall Johnson. JD, what will it take to make WWE the product we all want to watch again? Vince McMahon needs to go. Simple answer to that question. Vince McMahon needs to go. Triple H needs to take over. And the ideologies and the direction, or at least some of what NXT is doing, needs to be on the main roster. That's what needs to change. That's what's going to make WWE watchable again. That's what's going to make WWE fun again. Because right now, it's not fun. Nothing is fun about WWE. When I watch NXT, I feel fun. I don't feel insulted. I feel like a wrestling fan. That's what needs to happen on the main roster. That's my answer to that question. This is a non-wrestling related question. Alex, in Destiny 2, which subclass is your favorite for PvE and PvP? What is your favorite exotic weapon? This is pretty easy. I enjoy this question. Thank you so much, Alex, for sending this in. My favorite subclass for PvE is probably my Warlock. For PvP, I use my Hunter. My favorite exotic weapon, easily the Wardcliff Coil. I love that motherfucker, man. I'll go around just fucking shooting shit, killing myself randomly. It takes out shit so quick, especially if you got 2 or 3 people using the same fucking thing, man. Yellow bars go down easy. The public events are easily attainable and doable with that motherfucker, man. It's a great weapon. If you guys don't have it, I suggest you go out and get it if you can find it, or buy it off Xur. I know Xur sold it one of these weeks, but as far as Destiny 2 goes, dead. Everybody achieved everything in the first week. I'm 303 with my Hunter and 302 with my Warlock, and I have not even completed the raid. That's how easy it fucking is. You don't even need the raid anymore. You don't even need the raid to achieve max level or get close to max level. Sucks. But that's my answer to that question. Alex, thank you so much, bro. No fucks given on Twitter at Lone Red Fox. He asks, JD, what do you think the WWE needs to do to make the club look legit again? I say to write them off TV and bring them back with greater impact. I would actually agree with you on that. I would align the club with AJ Styles again, and I would take them off television. I would have them appear on Smackdown Live as rogues. I would have them appear the way I would have introduced them when AJ Styles first made his WWE debut. I would have had Roman Reigns win the WWE Championship, and I know I talk about this in nauseum. I go over this all the time because WWE dropped the ball. This would have been legit competition for the Shield. This would have been a credible threat for the Shield. A great opportunity to bring the Shield back if they wanted to get Roman Reigns over as a babyface. Because they know him winning the WWE Championship from Triple H had people fucking vomiting all weekend. I would have had Gallows and Anderson make their debut with Roman Reigns at the end of that Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 32. Beat down Roman Reigns wearing Bullet Club-esque masks. Nobody knows who they are. Then all of a sudden, Roman Reigns is laying in the middle of the ring, laying in his own puddle of piss and blood. Gallows and Anderson don't reveal themselves. They just stand there looking beastly. AJ Styles appears at the top of the stage wearing the same Bullet Club mask. He pulls the mask down and Monday Night Raw goes off the air, introducing AJ Styles to the WWE Universe. AJ's here. AJ's here for Roman Reigns. AJ's here to take over WWE and acquire the WWE Championship. That's storyline gold. Storyline gold. So I would write the club off again, take them off television, have them appear on SmackDown Live, and have them do the same thing on SmackDown Live and join AJ Styles. Now, I don't know if that would make AJ Styles heel. WWE doesn't want to turn AJ Styles into a heel right now. But I would definitely align them with AJ Styles. Or if you don't want to do AJ Styles, you can align them with Finn Balor. You could seemingly do the same thing. I would trade Finn Balor to SmackDown for Randy Orton. I would trade a tag team from Raw to SmackDown, or promote AOP and put them on Monday Night Raw and give SmackDown the club, Gallows and Anderson. I would have them do the same thing, but instead, I would have them align with Finn Balor, and I would have the club attack AJ Styles. So you got the Balor Club on AJ Styles. You got Finn Balor on SmackDown. Him trying to take over SmackDown, put him in a heel role, have him be that leader to take over SmackDown, and come to SmackDown Live. Why? To challenge AJ Styles, win the WWE Championship, and then you guys can get your AJ Styles Finn Balor Part 2 match. There you go. You know? It is what it is. That's what I would do. So, yes, the club needs to be written off and be put in that dominating role once again, depending on how you look at it. You can align him with AJ or align him with Finn Balor. Probably Finn Balor makes the most sense. But same situation, different leader is what I'd do. Look at him. Cara, what's up, brother? He asks, your thoughts and concerns on how many current NXT guys like Andrade Cien Almas and Aleister Black will be treated when they depart to the main roster. I can imagine already. Knowing WWE, Aleister Black will be on 205 Live, wrestling on Main Event, and fucking just treated like shit. And Almas, I don't know, man. Almas, he realistically is a cruiserweight. He comes in at 205 pounds. They probably put him on 205 Live, too. You know, if WWE wanted to make the most beast cruiserweight division, they got fucking pieces in that company where you could make the greatest cruiserweight division of all time. You know? You could be giving us matches. You could 205 Live. 205 Live could be, if they want it to be, 205 Live could be the NXT for the main roster. 205 Live could be NXT for the main roster shows. That's what it could be. If you guys have the talent that you got there, now you got TJP, you got Cedric Alexander, you got Rich Swann, you got Brian Kendrick, you got Tony Nese, 5 guys who I really enjoy watching. You got 5 guys there, right? Jack Gallagher. You can even put Jack Gallagher in there. Why they turned him heel, I don't know. So you got 6 guys there. Then you can have Almas. You can have Gargano. You can have Ciampa. You can have, that's 8 right there. Hideo Itami coming up. That's 9, right? Who else? You had Neville. Neville's there. Neville's 10. If he ever comes back, if he ever has the opportunity to come back, that's 10 right there. You had Austin Aries. You had 11, right? That's more than enough for a division, you know? Jesus fucking Christ. Look at the matches that you get just based on that talent there. It's unbelievable. But what I would do with Aleister Black to me is main roster through and through. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles, Aleister Black versus Finn Balor, Aleister Black versus Samoa Joe, Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins, right? Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn, Aleister Black versus Kevin Owens, Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I just made you all wet with just those potential matchups. Andrade Cien Almas is too good. I think Almas, if we're talking about Almas, back before he got paired with Zelina Vega, Almas was doomed. Now that I think Zelina Vega, who's got a major role in this upcoming Rock documentary with Paige and Paige's family, with Zelina Vega, I think Almas is easily leagues better than where he was, which is probably going to give him more opportunity. So I have high hopes for both guys. I know there was one report back in the day that Almas was unhappy. You know, Almas was unhappy. He didn't want in WWE anymore. They were treating him like garbage. You know, they had just wrong terrible creative direction. Now he seems to be on the right track. You know, but I have high hopes for both guys. I really do. If WWE wanted to make 205 Live something special, they could. They just refuse to. It's the Enzo Clown Show. It's the Enzo Circus on 205 Live. That's what it is. As far as the UK guys, I got news this weekend on why the UK division was invited to 205 Live and the update on Pete Dunne and what his WWE future holds. So we'll talk about that this weekend on Off the Script. How long before management ruins splits up the Revival? This one's coming from Neil Breen. I don't think the WWE is going to split up the Revival. I can't see Scott Dawson or Dash Wilder as singles guys. The Revival has not even been given an opportunity to thrive in the tag team division. There's no reason to break those guys up whatsoever. They've been just unfortunate with the injuries. So you can't really break them up, man. The Revival was the best tag team in the world down in NXT. Their matches against American Alpha and their matches against DIY. You ain't going to see tag team matches like that ever again in WWE. Never. Hopefully we get some sort of that, or something like that on the main roster. I can imagine the Revival going, that Revival against the Usos now. That Revival against the Bar. That Revival against the Shield. Come on, man. You got some great tag team matches waiting for you right there with the Revival coming back. I just don't know when they're coming back. Hopefully soon. Who do we got here, man? Let's see. Neil, you asked way too many questions, bro. You got overzealous with the questions. I'm only answering one of your questions, and that was it. Afif. JD, who should be the next heel WWE champion? I got 2 in my head. Number 1, Kevin Owens. Number 2, Rusev. Those are my 2 right there. Kevin Owens would play into the whole Sami Zayn dynamic, which would ultimately give Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens a spot at WrestleMania 34 for the WWE Championship, but that I don't think is going to happen. It's certainly nice to think of, to put those 2 guys on the grand stage like that, but I'm sticking with my guns, man. AJ versus Shinsuke for the WWE Championship. That's what people want to see. Rusev, I think Rusev got the Raw end of the deal. I think the Jinder Mahal thing was a failed experiment. Jinder saying that it was not an experiment. I got Jinder's Instagram post where he just goes off on writers and podcasts and all this other shit. I wonder if he's talking directly to me, bro. Jinder was a failed experiment. Okay? Jinder looks like a fucking experiment, the way he looks. He should have never been WWE champion. Rusev got the Raw end of the deal. He should have been the heel foreign champion over Jinder Mahal. Much more entertaining, much better in the ring, much better to look at, because Jinder looks like a fucking freakazoid. Yeah, but he's not on some enhancements, though, right? Give me a fucking break. Jeremy Bates. Who do you think are the best utilized NXT call-ups so far and the worst? It's a tough question, man. Ty Dillinger's got to be one of the worst. Bobby Roode right now, one of the worst. Simply because they just turned him babyface when he was a heel. Nakamura could be the worst. They ruined him. He's not really special anymore, you know. Hopefully they can turn that around. The best NXT call-ups, obviously you'd have to, I wouldn't call him, recently an NXT call-up, but Seth Rollins has been obviously successful, right? Kevin Owens has been successful. I really don't know who else that there is, man, off the top of my head right now. I'm trying to think, who else do we got? There really is not anybody that's sticking out to me at all. You know, Ty Dillinger has been treated like fucking garbage. Sami Zayn's been treated like garbage. Nakamura's been treated like garbage. Bobby Roode's been treated like garbage. You know? The best, I think, are Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, if you want to go back some years. But NXT, you know, I'm sticking to my guns, man. WWE, you know, they feel like NXT's outdoing them, and when Vince McMahon wants to get a grasp of whatever NXT's doing, he wants to ruin it and show who's boss. It's like he's sabotaging his own company, you know. Well, you think you could do better than me? Yeah, wait till I get my hands on you. I'll show you what WWE's all about. That's exactly what Vince McMahon, that's the mentality I could see Vince McMahon doing. Nobody gives a fuck about NXT down there. Give me a break, man. DeCourt. Even though we are getting Styles versus Lesnar at Survivor Series, do you still think Nakamura should have beaten Mahal at Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship, so we would have gotten Nakamura and Lesnar instead of Styles versus Lesnar? I think it's kind of one and the same. You know, I would have honestly, you know, dating back to, you know, just going in chronological order, yeah, I would have took the title off Mahal. First of all, Mahal should have lost the fucking title at SummerSlam. That's when he should have lost the fucking title. That's when it should have been done. We would have never even gotten Hell in a Cell. It should have been a rematch, and Nakamura would have beat him then. But WWE has this fucking wild idea that Jinder Mahal is going to do something great in India, or he's doing something great in India, but everything that I hear from the people who listen to this show in India tell me, JD, we don't care about Mahal. He's a bum. Nakamura should have been WWE champion. Yes, we should have gotten Lesnar versus Nakamura at Survivor Series. But being that it's Styles versus Lesnar now, it's kind of one and the same, because I put Nakamura and Styles in the same category, man. They're like similar guys, you know? Similar feels to them. But this opens up now Nakamura hopefully winning the Royal Rumble. I honestly do not think AJ is going to hold the title till WrestleMania. I think they're taking it right off of AJ and they're going to put it back on Mahal. I think we're still going to get Mahal versus John Cena at WrestleMania because Vince McMahon is fucking delusional. I think we're going to get Lesnar versus Reigns, Mahal versus Cena at WrestleMania. Yeah, some counter you got for Wrestle Kingdom there, right? Give me a break, man. I still think we're getting Nakamura and Styles, but it's not going to be for the WWE Championship. But in a perfect world, Styles would hold the title till WrestleMania. Nakamura would win the Royal Rumble. There you got your WrestleMania WWE Championship match. Reigns would win the Elimination Chamber to gain entry into the match with Lesnar. And that's the way you do it. But I don't think it would have really made much of a difference. Either way you look at it, nobody's beating Lesnar at Survivor Series. So I still think I want to see a Nakamura versus Lesnar match. But I am pleasantly pleased with what we're getting right now, as long as it's not Jinder Mahal. J. Herbs, just what I just mentioned, man. Do you think Jinder gets the title back in India? I don't think he gets the title back in India. Maybe at Starrcade, but I would give AJ till Clash of the Champions. I think Jinder wins it back at Clash of the Champions. That's just my logical guess here. That's my assumption. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. But I think Jinder's going to win it back before the year's up. Let's see. We got one more here, and then we'll save the rest for tomorrow. Let me pick a good one here, man. Gavin Hugill. Do you see Roderick Strong turning heel at War Games, or do you see Donovan Dijak debuting and joining the Undisputed Era instead? I actually answered this on NXT Review, and being that Off the Script is a larger audience, and maybe some of you didn't watch my NXT review, I'll go over it again because it's a good question. Donovan Dijak, the way Donovan Dijak is, I think he's like 260, 270 pounds. He's like 6'7", right? WWE's going to take a look at him and realize that he's probably going to get over on his own, and they want to push him as a solo entity because he's got the desirable build that they look forward to, right? Roderick Strong is a much smaller guy. Roderick Strong, you know, you might love Roddy in the ring. He's fantastic in the ring, but he's vanilla. He's vanilla. Roddy doesn't have really good promo skills. He doesn't have good promo skills at all, right? He doesn't have a great presence about him. He's like a vanilla version of Daniel Bryan. He's the underdog. He wrestles his heart out, but he doesn't have any personality, you know? What I think happens is, yes, I think Roddy turns heel at War Games. I think a turn is going to happen. I think he's going to align himself with Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. For the reason being, because I think Roddy could use that heel turn, and I think he could use the boost, just being paired with those guys, to get him to the next level, because I don't think he's going to get to the next level on his own. He's just going to be stuck where he is right now. He's going to be that guy who puts on great matches but doesn't have a real personality. I think with those guys, he's going to have a real personality. He'll be able to shine. A new version of Roddy, a more violent, a more vicious version of Roddy would come out. And then you could always go back and turn Roddy babyface, you know? They had a great match on NXT the other night. Did Strong and Cole. Very, very good match. I could see that being a feud down the line, you know? I think Roddy needs Undisputed more than anything right now. Donovan Dijak, I think he's got more than enough. I think he's got in-ring skill, and I think he's got the look to get over on his own. And I don't think WWE's going to pair him with someone like the Undisputed, or guys like the Undisputed. I think Roderick Strong could use the power of the Undisputed to get to that next level more so than Donovan Dijak. That's just my opinion on that, and I do think the turn is coming at War Games. That is your OTS social media segment brought to you guys by WrestleRumble.com. If you guys want to get on the social media segment, all you got to do is use the hashtag, tweet me, use the hashtag JDOTS. That's JDOTS. And we'll see if you guys make the show. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you for a great part 1 of Off the Script this weekend. Episode 195, part number 1. Part number 2 coming up. I got news on Jinder Mahal.
The make-believe Maharaja.
He addresses the wellness policy violation and injury rumors following the loss to AJ Styles. So we're going to talk about that and a bunch of other shit tomorrow on Off the Script. I also got speculation on plans for Asuka at the Survivor Series. News on Pete Dunne, news on Impact, news on New Japan. I got news on the Bludgeon Brothers. Is the gimmick dead already in WWE? Did they cancel the gimmick already in WWE? All this coming up on this weekend's Off the Script, man. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. And go buy yourself a fucking t-shirt on barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. I am JD. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Off the Script. And I will see you guys right back here tomorrow morning for part 2 of Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.